Alright, hey, what's up? So, I'm probably going to be changing a tire throughout this video because I'm tired and just got done with work not that long ago, or, well, probably a little bit longer than what I'm meaning to say. But anywho, as you saw by the title, we are playing Dungeons & Dragons. This is my first time as a DM, and really my son and I's first time actually playing. So you'll see me describing things to my son and whatnot, and hear him in the background, and you'll be seeing the maps and everything. With him being by himself, because we're just playing him and I, instead of it being a one-person story, I decided that we were going to do it where I am two people as well as the DM, and huh? No, I'm going to. I'm not going to say it here. Alright, so why don't we just go ahead and dive right on into the characters. Alright, so for Doctor Strange, right out the gate, this happens right after the first movie, like about a month after the first movie. So he's at the Sanctum, but he's in the need of some reading. So he decides to go to Camartage, to the library. He's there and he sees a book titled The Maps and Artifacts of the Lost Mines of Phandelver. But he notices on the cover, book's not agreeing with me. I should have been more prepared. He even asked, my son asked if I wanted him to open things. So he sees the book, The Maps and Artifacts of the Lost Mines of Phandelver, but he notices there's an insignia at the top where it says D&D, and it's made out of a dragon. And so he's interested in this book, and he begins to start reading certain things and seeing the maps. And so he gets an idea of where he's going to be going by seeing the map, and he uses his sling ring to open a portal to this other world, and he ends up on the road to Phandalin. And whenever he lands on the road to Phandalin, he is approached immediately by Gundren Rockseeker, who says, "Hey, I see you are a wizard. I am in need of some help. I have some things that I am trying to transport on this wagon. Do you think you can be of service?" And that's where we leave our first hero. Okay, so now I gotta get used to the camera because I had to move the thing because it was falling over. Now, Harry Potter takes place shortly after the Goblet of Fire. So that's the fourth movie, right?
Yeah, that's the fourth one.
So it takes place shortly after the Goblet of Fire. So Voldemort's back, and he is mourning the loss of Cedric Diggory. Well, Harry knows of a portkey just outside of Godric's Hollow, not Godric's. Is it Godric's Hollow? No, that's the wizard town. What's the name of the town where he lives at with his parents? Or not his parents, his aunt and uncle.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you want to ask Echo?
Not right now. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and ask Echo.
Alexa, where does Harry Potter live with his aunt and uncle?
Here's something I found on the web. According to getsurrey.co.uk, Harry Potter lived in the cupboard under the stairs at number 4, Privet Drive, with his Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and Cousin Dursley Dudley.
Okay, so just outside of Privet Drive, that would have been easier. I should have just went with Privet Drive because I knew that part. I just couldn't remember the name of the town. Okay, so just outside of Privet Drive, he knows of a portkey that he can use to travel to see Ron and the rest of the Weasleys. Well, what he doesn't know is that he has been watched by the Death Eaters, specifically Peter Pettigrew. And Peter Pettigrew, Wormtail, the little rat.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen the confusion in your face. All right, pay attention, because this is important. Peter Pettigrew has cursed the portkey with the intention of sending Harry to the Dark Lord, where he's hiding out at the moment, gaining strength. So Voldemort can kill him and gain more strength. Okay, But instead of that happening, Peter Pettigrew has messed up the portkey spell, and whenever he grabs a hold of it, he ends up on the road to Phandalin. And Doctor Strange is already there, so boom, Harry lands there. Doctor Strange is looking at him all weirdly, like, why'd this guy just land here? And Gundren Rockseeker sees him, and oh, terrific! A sorcerer who has knowledge of how to drive a cart. That is exactly what I was looking for. All right, time to meet the third and final member of our party. As I pull up my character sheet here, because there's quite a bit to go over with this character, because this one is completely new, so not familiar with it at all. As far as like he knows nothing. Obviously, I know because I created the character.
I don't think so. This is the first time I can figure out what the character is.
Yeah, so you're gonna get a lot more backstory with this one than what you did with the others. Because obviously, you know, everybody knows Doctor Strange, everybody knows Harry Potter, blah 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 blah.
Mostly.
Okay, so let me introduce you to Manak Loxodon. That is his full name. Now, the cool thing about Manak is he is an elephantine. And not only is he an elephantine, but he is from, like, a really cold place where, so he's a woolly mammoth, is kind of what he looks like. So he's pretty hairy. And
so like a nice age character.
yeah, kind of. But, okay, so we can get into, like, features and stuff later. But he's really big, and here, we'll give you, so you have an idea of, like, this character. Now, elephantines can live up to 450 years, okay? So just keep that in mind. And his height, he's 7 feet tall. And he's like 7 foot 4 inches tall.
So he's like as tall as like
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant's Big Show.
I think Andre was like 7'4", so he's like Andre the Giant height. He weighs 338 pounds.
Okay.
His age is 127.
So he's 127. He has to like a couple more years. A couple hundred more years.
Yes. His arms and neck and portions of his face are shaved, so it looks like he has a beard. The sides and back of his head are shaved. The hair on the top of his head, he let grow out, and he dreadlocked it, so it kind of looks like the Fiend's hair. Okay? And it goes down to about his shoulders. But whenever it's warmer to him, he keeps it tied up. And how he ties it up, he uses 2 of his dreadlocks, and he ties it up with his dreadlocks instead of using a piece of rope or something. Okay. Now, he has tattoos on his arms and on his neck, and he several of them indicate that he is a sailor, and it also shows his family heritage in a lot of them,
like
too.
his like backstory stuff?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah,
Alright.
like, whenever people see him, they know because of his tattoos that he's a sailor, and it also gives a clue to his family heritage, which we're getting ready to discuss his family right now in just a second. He has 2 brands. So, like, somebody branded him with a hot iron, okay? And those brands, one of them signifies that he's a slave, and that's on his right shoulder where everybody can see it. And another one is on the bottom of his foot, on his left foot, and it's right in the center of it. And that brand means he was a traitor from his people.
A traitor, like trading things?
Traitor, like he betrayed them.
Oh.
But there's more to that, to not spoil it. Okay, so why won't it let me scroll? Okay, so Manak began learning the art of war at the age of 15, hailing from a large community of nomadic-like mammoth loxodons that lived on ships. So their kingdom, like their town or whatever, was a group of ships that stayed together.
Okay, so like a bunch of ships were like, what do we call it?
Yeah, they
All
like,
stayed together?
so if they moved, they would move in a certain pattern. But then, like, once they got to a place, they would, like, kind of connect and make a town. But they called it a kingdom. And they typically stayed in frozen, cold areas. and they would go into, like, they would go to land, like they would take boats to the land or whatever, and they would hunt, and they would also, like, if they fought a war, they would do it there. Well, at the age of 100, Manak actually became king, and when he became king, he reigned for 26 years. Okay, and then here, like, we're getting really close to the end of the story, like where we meet up with Manak. Yeah.
Manak.
Yeah, Manak. And so where we meet up with Manak at, okay, hang on. My brain. So he actually is betrayed by people. Like, there was a small rebellion, which is known as a coup. And those people attacked and overthrew him as king. They overthrew him, and they took over.
So basically, he betrayed them being king and everyone.
No. The people, like, if you would let me finish the story, you could have heard. So what happened is somebody, I haven't decided who, because I've been working on this story all day. Somebody didn't like him as king. They wanted to be king themselves. And so they overthrew him and took his spot and came up with a lie as to what had happened.
To make him get over.
To make it look like he's the bad person. And so he got banished and branded as a traitor because of that lie. And so now he cannot go back to his home community of ships. And so he worked as a sailor, going from different ships and everything. Well, a dragonborn character actually essentially kidnapped Manak and forced him to be a slave. And when that happened, Manak actually eventually kills that guy. Okay? And so Manak has a lucky item on him, and that lucky item is a necklace of the Dragonborn's jaw, and it actually has a couple of gold teeth on it. Okay? And but he was still stuck in slavery because there were other people that were over him. And so they actually just about a month ago were in Phandalin and had him up on the auction block to sell him. And Gundin Rockseeker bought him. So he is Gundin Rockseeker's slave, because Gundin Rockseeker knew he was going to need somebody big and heavy, and strong to help with what Gundin Rockseeker is trying to accomplish. And so there we go. We have all three of our people together. And just so you know what Manak's class is, or what have you, yeah, class. He is a barbarian.
Oh, luckily he's not a barbarian. I hate that character though.
No, actually, I learned a lot about bards the other day. Bards are pretty cool because they're musicians, obviously, but then they also can cast spells and stuff, and they're like a highly religious character. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So, just so you hear a couple of things about Manak, he has a mixed ideology. Like, his religion is a combination of two things: Norse mythology, so like Viking lore, so like Thor and stuff.
Okay.
Like Thor's like his main focus, not even like Odin or anything like that, but
like
Thor.
Basically.
He wants to be a lot like Thor, yeah, in a lot of ways.
So Thor's like the guy he's looking out to be.
Yeah, kind of. But I also came up with a different religion, which I'll expand on whenever we have more time. Yeah. But it's called Trunktaism. So I combined two words there, tundra and trunk, like an elephant's trunk, because I can actually use that trunk as a weapon. Tundra is like a frozen desert, essentially. And so whenever I talk about the tundra and stuff like that with Manak, that's what I'm talking about. So, he has that. He hates shields. Will not use a shield. And he has almost no fear. Okay?
Will he attack my shield?
No. He just doesn't want to use one for himself. He doesn't think he needs one.
Since he's tall.
Yeah. And he doesn't really have, like, any armor.
Oh, so, because he's strong and big and...
Thick-skinned.
Yeah.
Also, because of his trunk, he has a keen nose, which sometimes causes him to sneeze when around a lot of dust. And that's listed under his flaws. And 2 other things about his flaws: calculated lack of fear, which is also one of his, kind of a positive. And then also despises shields. So since he doesn't like shields, that's a problem too. Okay, so let's see. I think we pretty well covered everything. You got a good idea of what he looks like? And like who he is and everything?
Oh yeah, I do.
All right. I think it's time to begin.
Of course I know how like my Harry Potter and Doctor Strange look, because I've seen Harry Potter and Doctor Strange movies. So
Exactly.
it's like a real...
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You just kind of needed a backstory.
Yes,
Whereas with this one, you needed like the backstory of how he got there and everything like that.
Creative things to make it and figure out what it is.
All right, so we begin our journey. We are heading down the trail south along the high road to the Tribor Trail. Hang on one second. I want to see where... Tribor. All right, so you're currently piloting the wagon for Gundam Rockseeker.
Alright.
Manak is walking beside it, more towards the front of it, helping, be like a bodyguard.
And then Doctor Strange is in the back.
No, Doctor Strange is kind of walking more like beside you, because he takes great interest in you because he sees... okay, I'm going to talk like I'm Doctor Strange. I'm taking great interest in you because you have magic, and because of all of my studying that I've done up to this point, I can't quite figure out like what your deal is. And so
how I already know a bunch of things that he doesn't know.
Well, your magic is different, and so he's really interested in the fact that your magic is different. And so he's asking you questions like, okay, so you have to use a wand. So you two are kind of engaged in some serious conversation about magic. As we are going down, my ankle's bothering me. I gotta find a way to sit. I'm old.
No,
All right.
You're just 30.
I'll really climb back at the triclinium we got here going on here. All right, so we are headed south along the high road to the Tribor Trail. So we are... Okay, I do have a map of that for you.
The Tribor Trail?
Yes.
Am I allowed to see?
Yes, I'm going to show you. Okay.
I'm only allowed to see the maps.
So we're headed, like, south. So, here, come here. Like, around the corner. So we're headed along this,
Okay. I see.
going this direction. So we're headed towards Phandalin. So we're not even here yet. But we're headed to the high road, okay? We're about a half day's march from Phandalin at the moment. And, let's see. Hang on, I think... So the whole reason why we're hauling this, obviously, Gundam Rockseeker told us a little bit about it, but we're a little vague on the information yet. And so Doctor Strange and Harry are also trying to piece that together. And so the conversation turns to Manak, since he's been a slave for a month now with Gundam Rockseeker.
So Manak knows a lot more about what Doctor Strange and Harry know about Gundam.
So they're like, tell us about Gundam Rockseeker and Phandalin. So I'm sorry, my brain. Manak, he starts talking about Gundam Rockseeker. So Gundam Rockseeker is from the city of Neverwinter. Or, well, no. We started near Neverwinter. I apologize. So Manak explains that because Manak's trying to help them get the idea of trying to tell us. Here, let's put it that way. This is going to be hard since I'm essentially being three people. Manak is trying to tell us, so like Doctor Strange and Harry Potter, that we left Neverwinter. We're headed to Phandalin. We're about
A mile.
a half day's march from Phandalin, so we should get there in a couple hours.
Alright.
And Gundren was like really excited to see us. Okay, and he was really secretive. Remember?
Yeah.
And that's why we're asking this. But we were told we would get 10 gold pieces each for
yeah.
this. And actually, Manak is promised his freedom if he does this. And so Manak's
And if he
goal...
doesn't die too.
Yes. But if Manak dies, he hopes it's a glorious death. But his focus right now is to get freedom and go back to his kingdom and
So leave us
become
after
king
this
again.
part? After part 1?
No, he will stay with the entire story.
Alright.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Yeah. Can't make any promises.
I promise you will live.
So, let's see. So we know it's something big and we're going to get money. And then he took out off ahead of us.
No.
No, Gundren Rockseeker. So it's just the three of us now with this cart. Oh. And he did have a guard with him.
Oh.
Sildar Hallwinter is his name.
Oh, yeah.
A knight. And he took off ahead of me. Yeah, you read ahead on this.
Oh,
You weren't
what?
even supposed to read. You're not the DM.
I read before I knew we were even going to be playing.
Okay. So they're trying to take care of some business. And we've spent a couple of days on this road now. And we're, still a lot of questions between the three of us about things as we're piecing things together. And we're heading down the Tribor Trail towards the high road, trying to get to Phandalin. And things have been going pretty good.
Alright.
We start to round a bend, though. All right, so we come around the corner, and now I'm going to be talking as Dr. Strange. Harry, do you see those two horses in the road?
Yeah.
Do you recognize them?
No.
Manak speaks up. I recognize them. They're Sildar Hallwinter's and Gundren Rockseeker's horses. It looks like the saddlebags have been looted. And here's Gundren's leather map case. So Doctor Strange and Harry are back a little bit, and Manak is up there looking at the.
Since he's like tall and he knows more about them instead of us.
Yeah, Manak's up there looking at the stuff because he knows their stuff. So he's a little emotional at the moment. Okay.
And he also.
All of a sudden, we hear a thwip through the air. Okay, so these horses have been killed by arrows. Okay?
Okay.
And so now we hear a thwip through the air.